Hi models. A friend asked me if I would show how I add shapes together, vectors shapes together within Illustrator to make more abstract shapes. So I thought I'd make an arrowhead. That sort of shows several of the techniques that are needed to join paths within vector drawings. First of all, I'll draw a horizontal line as a reference point. Now when you draw a line with Illustrator, if you hold down the Shift key, the line will adopt either horizontal, or vertical, or 45 degrees. Now it does help if you actually select the line point, draw the line, hold down Shift, and as you can see it will move through vertical and horizontal 45 degrees. So we want a horizontal line, so leave it at that. It has a black stroke and the stroke is 1 point in size. I'm going to reduce the size of that stroke to 0.25 just to make it a little bit sharper. Next we're going to draw a box. Now this is going to be the main body of the arrowhead. We're also going to draw another box which will be the sharp bit of the arrowhead. Okay, now if we go to the Select tool and draw a box around the whole lot, so we're selecting everything within the boundary, and then we use the Vertical Alignment tool, this will actually align everything within that box. Click on that, now everything is centered on that horizontal line. Okay, a useful tool. Next what I'm going to do is turn this rectangle into a triangle. So we take the anchor point selection tool and we go to the delete anchor point option. So now I've got a little minus next to our cursor. Select either the anchor points, one of these two, doesn't matter which one. I'll select the lower one. Click, deletes the anchor point, and now you have a triangle. We use the direct selection tool. Grab hold by clicking on that anchor point there and dragging it down to that line we've got there as a reference. We now have an arrowhead. The next step in our exercise is to join that rectangle to this triangle to make it one vector rather than two separate ones. So first of all, let me just recap from a previous video how we can move the artboard around our screen. First of all, if you use the wheel on a mouse, on your mouse, the image will move up and down the screen. If you hold Control while you operate the wheel, the image will move left and right within the screen. If you hold down the Alt key as you move the wheel, the image will get larger or smaller. Now I'm going to move it down and zoom it in and move it so that we've got the image in the center. What we're going to do now is using our anchor point tool again, but this time our add anchor point. I'm going to add an anchor point to the triangle. Okay, so I go here and I add an anchor point, and I go here and I add another anchor point. These are in line with obviously the main body rectangle. So what do we do now? Now what I'm going to do is remove that portion of the line from within this triangle. And the way we do that is we use the direct selection tool. We click on that anchor point and then we use the Shift key and click on that anchor point. The Shift key allows us to select more than one item at the same time. In this case we just need two. So that one has gone dark and that one has gone dark. You'll see the other anchor points are still white. Okay, so these two are selected. We go up to our Cut at Anchor Point tool and click on it. This should have cut that line out of the triangle. If we now use our direct selection tool and just click outside of all the shapes and then click on that line, you will see that we now have a line, a separate line. If we click delete, to press it twice. That line has now gone. Well, you can't really see it, but it has gone. If we then select the rectangular part of our arrowhead and do the same thing again, we select, using the direct selection tool, this anchor point here, it goes dark. Hold the shift key down and select this anchor point here, select, it goes dark. So those two anchor points are now selected. If we go to our cut anchor point at selected points, that line should be separate from the other three lines that make up the rectangle. So if we go click outside and then on that line, you'll see that we now have a segment there. If we do delete twice, the line has now gone. Okay, so now we've got a three-sided rectangle and a three-sided triangle, but with a chunk missing. Okay, so what we have to do now, because these are still two separate vectors, we have to join them together at these points here. Okay, now if I use the Alt key and wheel, I can scroll in a bit further and you'll see. The stroke lines don't join in the corners. That indicates that we have two separate vectors. What we can do now is use the direct selection tool, draw a box around the area where you know there will be two anchor points, one anchor point on that triangle and one anchor point on that rectangle. Highlight them both and then use this tool here, which I was going to hover over and see if it would actually indicate its name. But what it does, it combines two anchor points when they're selected. So I'll do that, click. It'll give you the option to either make a corner or a smoothed radius in there. If you click smooth, it's probably going to come up with an option as to what the radius of that smoothness is going to be in probably millimeters. I want a corner, so I'll select corner. And now you can see that the stroke is now continuous all the way around it. That is now joined at that point. If we use the wheel, the mouse on the wheel, the wheel on the mouse to scroll down a bit, we have a disjoint here as well. You can see the stroking hasn't joined together. So again, we use the direct selection tool to select those 2 points, and then we use the join together or merge 2 anchor points together. It's offering us the option, I want a corner, and you can see that the stroke has joined now, and now that point and the other one are joined together. If I hold down the Alt, zoom out, move it down, Control to move it to the middle. Now we have our arrowhead. If we highlight the line through the middle, that was just a reference line, as you recall, so we can simply delete that. It's no longer needed. Now, if we use the selection tool, the arrow is now one vector graphic, and we can shape it and do what we like with it, and it will remain one vector graphic. Okay, I hope that's been of some help, and will make joining objects together that much easier. Alright, thanks, cheers.